Right, this is Kenny from DragonBomb, and I know it's been some time since last recording. That's mostly since Nick and myself haven't been able to get together to record anything with Nick and his ever-changing shifts. I know he's changed to a different store with his workplace, and I'm always bouncing back and forth between seeing my family and being at my girlfriend's. Now, it's not really going to be much. Going to be providing the toast to NXT, the roast of Summerslam. I didn't think I would actually do another toast and a roast, let alone within 6 months of each other. I mean, I can't help but wonder that if at this rate we're going to do another toast and a roast come November, when we've got Takeover Toronto and Survivor Series the next night, what happens is, of course, going to happen. And the Nick had discussed the brand split and how that had gone down. And where do I fucking start? Jesus, it's like, where on earth do you stack the deck so much in Raw's favour that it has like a lot of the big name guys, but on the flip side of that, SmackDown has the lesser talent, but are able to do a lot more with what they have. It's actually really weird, but I'll get to that and eventually a preview of Backlash, which is tomorrow night. And also, before I carry on, I also want to pass my late condolences to Mr. Fuji, who had passed away several weeks ago. May he be with Yokozuna, dropping the banzai and the salt on anyone and everyone. And now we're going to get on to, discussing Takeover. And I'm going to straight out say it was a great event. And I was really surprised, actually, at first that it was going to go back to Brooklyn, because for the most part, I wouldn't have thought that there would be another takeover in the same spot, but because SummerSlam is now taking place in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, that there'll be a takeover again, like the night before, which indeed there was, and I didn't even know that there was like a dark match that was eventually recorded for NXT. I mean, Dillinger beating Blake and the Authors of Pain making their presence known, like by beating the Australian newcomers. I remember hearing about them as the Mighty Don't Kneel, but they're also known now as TM61, which, as a Pokemon fan, it's a bit funny for me to say technical machine. But no, I thought Takeover on a whole was really good. Like, the show started with A Double against No Way Jose, and without, like, just straight off the bat, we got No Way Jose coming in with the fucking conga line, maybe as long as the entirety of ringside. Like, I thought it was such a fun and good entrance because, it's No Way Jose. I really enjoy watching the guy. He is just so much fun, and he's got that giant afro of doom and the big, like, open mouth smile that quickly turned into a frown of rejection after Gargano and Ciampa denied him during a glorious bomb. And okay, it's a bit of a tangent, but I fucking love the glorious bombs. I really do like them. It's just, they're great. If anyone's seen the most recent one with some special guests, it's on Tommaso Ciampa's Twitter, so go find it and have a chuckle. Like, can't really say anything else about it. And Aries beat Jose, and it was a really good match for what it was worth. Like, and proper back and forth. Like, Jose is not the Joker that you assume him to be. He can really put out, and he was really fun in that showing. And Aries made him tap with the last Chancery hold. And the next two matches were both debuts. Ember Moon comes in and basically fucks shit up. Like, Billie Kay gets a match against the newcomer, and your shit got wrecked. I mean, that stunner that Moon drops is nothing short of, I think it's a bit of art. It's really nice. I like Moon herself comes from a lot of independent backgrounds, so she's established herself. And her appearance is very Melina-like for, like, if anyone's played Mortal Kombat, like, minus the massive as fuck teeth. But fucking, I cannot wait to see her perform down the line. And because of the women's division as it is now, I'll get to this later as well, that I think down the line she could be the one to beat Asuka. I don't know. Who knows? And on to the next one. I mean, we had like Bobby Roode with the second best entrance of the night, coming down on a platform that was as glorious as the theme that he comes out to, with 15,000 people all singing it in unison. And like, the highlight of that entrance to me was this big shit-eating grin on Roode's face as he's making his way down. I thought it just was perfect for what it was. And you know, this is the same guy who earlier was shit-talking Brooklyn. Like, I think, you know, he essentially said it was a shithole, and he just comes out to one of the best entrances of the night. Just how? But no, he took on Andrade Almas, and I think I mentioned how much I enjoy watching Almas because he flies in the face of the stereotypical way a WWE match happens. Like, if a guy is outside, like, you know, someone's going to rebound on the rope and jump over, like, you don't have to look any further than Roman Reigns or Sami Zayn for that. But like, what Almas does instead, he'll run to the turnbuckle and just lob himself over. Like, and if you're going to fling him out the ring, he'll just like lie on him like Eddie Guerrero, but like in between them. The guy is just so fun, and even though Roode won it and like Almas got the loss, it's like, you know, that could have gone for quite a bit actually. But no, it was a great match all the same. I quite liked what I was seeing. I mean, Roode is Roode, simple as, and Almas is putting out a fantastic showing as per. And nothing against the two title matches, but the tag match between the Revival and DIY, being Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, I thought was match of the night. Like, nothing against Asuka and Bayley and Shinsuke and Joe, but that match had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I mean, Gargano and Ciampa are established on the indies, you know, the Revival are the Revival, you know, like the old school villainy heels. And Jesus, I could actually put that down as a match of the year candidate. I really could. But the one thing that really pissed me off was when Gargano taps out. He could have easily reached for the ropes, but it's like, no, and like, it will tap. It's like, what? I was gutted it ended that way, and for what it was worth, it was like, you could have reached for the ropes, man. But, you know, I mean, a part of me was still disappointed that the Revival won the tag match, but at the same time they have a very good tag team. But the crowd just goes mild whenever they turn up, and it's a shame for how good they are. I mean, Gargano and Ciampa came out to a great pop because they're popular as it is. Well, no shit. But no, I mean, the Revival are now since two-time tag team champions, and it's a shame they don't get a bigger pop for what they are. I mean, I dread to think what they're going to be like when they're on main roster, like when the day comes that they get called up, because like they've got the antics and the shenanigans that would really get heat on them. But I don't know. I mean, crowd doesn't seem to give a shit, but I give a shit. So where's the issue? And we go on to the women's championship match, and I actually didn't know this, but well, I kind of did, but like I completely forgot Bayley was out the picture because of the kayfabe injury that Nia Jax inflicted on her. And so we got a rematch from Dallas where Asuka is now defending her belt against Bayley. And it was a pretty solid match. It ended a little too sudden, but fucking hell, I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, wow. Now, after the match, Bayley got a massive standing O, and I was thinking to myself, I think this is Bayley's last match in NXT, because you don't chant thank you blank without due reason. So I was suspecting that Bayley was going to go onto main roster at some point, which I was right about. And so long as Asuka is champion and the women's division is as is, you're either going to get that belt off her or die trying. And Ember Moon, as I said earlier, may be the only person who's capable of taking the belt from her. So what happens is going to happen down the line, but Asuka's going to go unbeaten. I don't know, maybe until at least next year. I mean, I can see her retaining at Toronto, but I don't. But obviously, we don't know who she's going to be against at this point. And I'd say it's a little too soon for Asuka to drop the belt if Ember Moon is to take it off her. You know, I mean, the talent level between those two is great, but I'd say if Ember Moon is going to get the belt, it's going to be a takeover before Mania, or if there's one in between Toronto and... Shit, where's Mania taking place? Mania 33. Fuck. I don't know where it's taking place, but if there's a takeover in between November and March/April, then I kind of anticipate Asuka to drop the belt then. I can't be too sure. But no, we then go on to the main event of the night, Shinsuke and Joe. You know, this was a match people wanted to happen. Two of the stiffest guys in NXT. And the pre-match package was fucking fantastic to watch, because I've missed a lot of NXT, but obviously I'd read up about it online, etc. And, like, people often discuss how charismatic Shinsuke is. Like, I know this having watched him in New Japan. And he can piss off Joe just with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. He doesn't have to fucking look at him, just like, hey! Just like big motherfucking grin on him. And that's just enough to send Joe off the handle. And I love it because actions speak louder than words, so it goes. And, you know, just that one shit-eating grin right at Joe's enough to piss him off. And I love it, Michael. I love it. Which, thank fuck now, he's gone to sodding SmackDown, so I love it, Morrow. And so on and so forth. But JBL has actually become a lot more tolerable since then. And, like, the two go at it. Like, it's a proper back and forth physical affair. You know, Kinshasa's muscle busters, Corey Graves marking the fuck out whenever a Kinshasa happens. You know, it's all there. And to my surprise and delight, Shinsuke actually won. And because I thought Joe was going to hold the belt for a bit longer, but no, Shinsuke is now NXT champion and, well, has been for, well, nearly a month. It was just great. Like, I was just so fucking happy. And we then find out that Joe had his jaw broken in the middle of all of that as well, which I thought was fucking crazy. But then again, the Kinshasa is a running knee off the top rope. Well, if you, what's the word? If you, like, launch yourself, like, you know, you just shove your knee into that guy's face. I mean, Shinsuke is legendarily is a legend for being stiff, like, you know, the king of strong style, and his knees to Joe's jaw was like, oof. If someone can get like a Mortal Kombat edit of that'd be fucking brilliant. I would love that. No, I mean, Takeover Brooklyn, hats off. I fucking loved it. And so ends the toast to NXT. And the roast of fucking Summerslam. Jesus fucking Christ. You can already tell I don't like... I thought SummerSlam was a fucking disappointment. The card had so much potential to match TakeOver for once. And instead, where do you start? I actually missed the pre-show. I think I started watching from at least Sheamus and Cesaro in this best of 7 series that they're doing. I thought it was going to be best 4 out of 7 in one match, but as it now evidently turns out, it's best 4 out of 7 matches, to which, as of right now, Sheamus is leading 3-1. I mean, I'm just going to put my thoughts to this, but Cesaro is better than a fucking best of 7 with Sheamus. I mean, Cesaro is great, so is Sheamus, but I feel bad for the both of them, because they're so good that they shouldn't be in the position they are, but they are. If Cesaro can go to SmackDown, great, because, you know what, SmackDown can do with the additional bit of talent, because I think Raw's sucking dick, and I'll get to that in a bit. The American Alpha. What the hell? I'm just looking. Sorry, I'm just like looking at the results. And a 12-man tag team. So, like I said, I didn't watch it. So, the Alphas, the Hype Bros, and the Usos beat Breezango, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains. You know, when I think about it, it's winners against jobbers. And the second match in the pre-show was Zayn and Neville beating the Dudley Boys, and I thought it was a fucking travesty that Zayn was not on the pre-show. The guy's put out maybe 5 potential matches of the year, and you show, okay, granted, I mean, where do you slot him with everything else? But I thought it was such a disservice to the guy, because he's one of the best wrestlers I think going in WWE right now, and I say this as a big Kevin Owens fan. You know, I can't help but admire and enjoy what Zayn does because he is that good. But no, they beat the Dudley Boys in what turns out to be their retirement match from the dub. Like, they've since retired, not before getting the Magic Killer off the Bullet Club. Well, the club. Sorry, Vinnie Mac, but they're still the Bullet Club to me and to everyone else. And, you know, the Dudleys have disappeared, so, you know, it's not like they were doing anything anyway, but, you know, well, what do, you know? Then we go on to the main card, and I'm going to admit, I love this little bromance going on between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. Well, I don't say this as a biased Owens fan, I just say it because the dynamic and the banter between the two is great. But I thought it was a bit bizarre how they beat Enzo and Cass in basically their back garden. I mean, you know, the lads from New York and New Jersey getting beaten in their own garden by the Canadians, well, kayfabe Canadian in Jericho's case, but it was a good match. Like, you know, I mean, you got KO doing that weird backward chicken walk thing that Enzo does, he just mocks it so perfectly. And before the match, you get the classic Bantosaurus Rex from Enzo and Cass, just doing what they do best. And I like the pop-up code breaker finish that they've got going on. That was really good. And yeah, I was surprised that Jericho and Owens got the win over Enzo and Cass. But what happens down the line for those two? I mean, I like to think now that we've got recent events out of the way, you know, I can't help but think that things may start to reach a boiling point bit by bit with Jericho and Owens. Who knows? But no, I mean, good match, good opener. And then we move on to the women's belt, which starts I'm just going to say this before I start talking about Sasha Banks against Charlotte, was how weird the match ordering was. Like, it was all over the place. It was the strangest event I've ever fucking seen for such a big event. It was strange, it really was. But no, Charlotte would be Sasha for the belt, and that match could have been so much better, but it could have gotten so bad as well, because I don't know how or why, but there were quite a few botches and mistakes that could have led to serious injury. I mean, Sasha had her back injured, like she was out for a wee time, and I can't help but wonder what the fuck's going wrong in main roster for two talented, great women like Charlotte and Sasha to fuck up so badly. Like, it's not like them to be that bad. And now Charlotte holds the women's belt once again, and thankfully Dana Brooke was banned from ringside. Thank God for that. And then we have The Miz against Apollo Crews. Now this is for the IC, and that match was over before it even started. Like, what, 6 minutes, if that? How do you... It's I don't know. I honestly just don't know, because how the fuck do you have a title match that's over in that long? But then again, this is the WWE. They had a world heavyweight title match end in 18 seconds between DB and Sheamus. Mania 28. What are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do? And then we've got the match of the night. Hands down, if not another contender for match of the year, Styles beating John Cena. 50-50 crowd all the way through. It was fucking beautiful. Like, Styles really has come into his own in the dub. And to think that they were going to shove this guy in the mid-card when he first arrived. Like, Vince was going to fucking put him in the mid-card, and if word's anything to go by, have him get squashed by fucking Ryback. But we all know Styles is better than that. And thankfully Vince has seen that. But it's just, oh, wow, you know what I mean? Styles beating Cena is huge. Because it's a passing of the torch. And yeah, it's like, you know, Cena just chucked everything at Styles chucked everything at him, and he came out the better guy for it. I could not have asked for a better match that night. And unfortunately, this is where everything goes downhill. The Bullet Club beating the New Day by disqualification. Because, hey, celebrity cameos is always a good thing, am I right? You see, I liked Jon Stewart in SummerSlam last year. His part was minimal. It was, it was pretty funny. It was good for what it was. But I felt this year he was kind of a bit forced on us, and I found him rather cringy. I like the guy. He's a great political, satirical commentator. But I just felt that, they kind of pushed it a bit too far, and he got involved with the match again. Like, the match itself was alright, but they could do more with that. And, Big E comes back after his balls injury. that tickled me, the whole doctor's stuff, it really did. But it was kind of childish at times as well, because the New Day and the Bullet Club are much better than what we are being led on to see with them. And I think it's really quite sad. Big E comes in, gets the save on Stewart, who's about to get fucking gang beaten by Gallows and Anderson, takes a good mouthful of the jar and spits it. Big E's great. I fucking love the guy. But, it's a shame, because I thought the timing would have been right for them to drop the bounce. But I like to think that's going to happen at Clash of Champions, which I think is a shit fucking name for a pay-per-view. Night of Champions sounded great, but Clash of Champions sounds like one of those fucking Android and iOS games. It sounds cheap. I don't particularly like it, but I digress and go off on fucking ranty, sweary rants that Jim Cornette would be proud of. And Ambrose retaining against Ziggler, again, that's a match that was over before it even fucking started. It's like, you didn't miss anything by missing that match. And everything just... It's like that match was just there, And I think it was at this point I went to bed, because I honestly got bored shitless watching SummerSlam. Anyone who knows me knows I will watch a pay-per-view through to the end. But it was fucking awful. You put a women's match in between the World Heavyweight, which was lackluster, and the Universal Championship match. Nothing against the women involved, all great, but I don't know, it's just, like I said, the match card was just fucking everywhere. It was weird. Natty Bliss and Nikki, who replaced Eva Marie because of a suspension, which I thought was crazy, because ADR and Page only got nicked days later. The match had no consequence, and I missed the rest of the night because, again, I was just bored shitless and I went to bed. Finn beat Rollins in what I heard was a really good match, and unfortunately Finn had to drop the belt the next night on Raw because Seth busted his shoulder, but Finn did have his arm out as he landed as well, so it kind of worked both ways. But I do want to say, Seth, I fucking love you, man, but stop with the powerbomb shenanigans, because it's already doing a lot of damage. I just hope that down the line it doesn't happen again, but fuck, And then we move on to the shit fucking You know what? Fuck Lesnar, okay? I fucking said it. Fuck him. No, like, we had a match that was hyped as, 15 years in the making, and Lesnar comes along with his fucking Suplex City bullshit, and just does it all over again to Randy and splits his head open like a fucking walnut. I hope whoever takes down Lesnar just uses the same move over and over and over. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just have Shinsuke Nakamura just come up from NXT and make a statement by just repeatedly kneeing Lesnar in the face over and over and over. You know, that's how much I fucking hate Lesnar now, because he's become a joke. He's become a parody. You know, it's got to be nice to be getting paid on par with Cena when all you do is ragdoll people. He's like showing effort. You defended the WWE like when UFC was happening because that fucking gobshite Conor McGregor's like spouting off. But on the flip side, it's like, work for your fucking paycheck, man. Everyone else is. But no, for a match that got as much hype as it was a fucking shit fest. And I'm only glad Jericho fucking had a... Well, Jericho didn't exactly have a pop at Lesnar. Lesnar had a pop at Jericho, if so the story goes, because Jericho wasn't happy about how things happened in that match. Like, I don't know if the general opinion of Lesnar has now gone down. I know I've seen a lot of fans just basically be not happy about Lesnar. I've not been personally happy with how he's being booked and the moveset that he's just riding the dick of so hard. I mean, I think I may have discussed it in a previous episode, but when the Suplex City thing first happened with Cena, no one expected it. It was unprecedented. And the joke was funny at first. But then when he did it to Seth Rollins at Battleground last year, that's when the joke started getting old. Like, that's when you realise that if he can do that to another champion, he'll do it to anybody, regardless of who they are and what they do. And I thought it was fucking stupid how he's chucking Orton around like a fucking ragdoll, coming off shoulder surgery. Come the fuck on. Like, you know, you work with your opponent in mind, like, but no, fucking Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants, am I right? Fuck. Oh yeah, and Rusev and Reigns didn't have their US title match because of because Rusev got kayfabe injured. Fuck SummerSlam, that was fucking shit. Now, just to briefly go through the brand split, like, I thought SummerSlam, like, coming out of SummerSlam, you know, the brand split is now in place properly. SmackDown, I think, has been the better show, and Raw is showing nothing for it, which I think is a shame, because Raw's got a lot of good talent, but it's same shit, different show. Whereas SmackDown, you feel like there's something interesting happening all the time. It is a fucking travesty for what it's worth. And, you know, we've got the Cruiserweight Classic coming to a head soon enough. And I don't know how many guys are going to go from Cruiserweight Classic to Raw, or to SmackDown if it goes to that. But I think the Cruiserweight's going to make or break the brand split in the first year. I mean, we've got Backlash tomorrow night, which is a SmackDown event, and we've got Night of Champions in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be like one of the big factors going into the brand split. And I could not be happy with Raw, with Kevin Owens being champion. Like, I did not expect that to happen. Like, because I thought Rollins was going to win the Fatal 4-Way. Like, I couldn't have been mad if he did, because it seemed like the best choice. But I did look at Owens as the outside chance, and like, Reigns would want to get murdered by the crowd if he won the heavyweight again. Well, Universal, my bad. And Big Cass was just filler. Much as I liked the guy, he's got a lot of upside. But no, Base H has chosen Owens as his man. And wow. And then Raw just got shit. And do not give Titus O'Neil a mic. Holy fuck. Like, I didn't watch Raw the following week, but apparently he was just god awful on the fucking mic. And on commentary, he's just as bad. Like, I think Matthew from Botchamania is going to have a field day with that motherfucker eventually. Jesus. actually did the whole hand thing right. As we know, it's a running joke where I got bollocked by Nick. Well, I say bollocked, but like Nick was like, "You're doing it wrong, man. You're doing it wrong," and I did it right this time. But he's feuding with fucking Darren Young, who's a cringe fest to watch. He's got Bob Backlund like escaping from the retirement home, and all of a sudden Ric Flair does not seem so bad. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, Raw just feels like same shit, different day. And also, props to this, actually. When Owens won, I sarcastically thought Jim Cornette and Vince Russo was going to have a fucking meltdown when they find out about this. And I was half right. Russo went fucking ape. It was beautiful. That motherfucker got so salty, it was And he got salty again a couple weeks later when Sasha said no more bra and panties. But bro, shut the fuck up, Russo, you irrelevant piece of shit. But no, now it's like, with Corny, he had the best response and the most mature response. It was like, yeah, I'm glad Owens won, but I don't necessarily care because I don't watch the WWE. I thought that was such a mature response for what it was worth. And Raw's just not been delivering since. And then you've got SmackDown, which has been really fun to watch. I mean, you got Heath Slater and Rhino as a tag team, like with Heath's kids and Lesnar telling Slater on Raw, "I don't give a shit about your kids, ho-ho!" Yeah, I always do a little Mickey Mouse voice of Lesnar because hearing him speak is hilarious, but if there is one thing I don't want to hear with Lesnar down the line is unfiltered. Like, just him, a live mic, no one else. I think it'd be fucking hilarious. But no, SmackDown I think has been the better show for what it's worth. And with the upcoming pay-per-views, let's find out how it goes. And the card is looking pretty solid actually. Ambrose against Styles for the World Heavyweight. If Styles win, then, you know, pun intended, reference all intended, too fucking sweet. I can't be mad if Ambrose retains because he has been doing quite well for himself. Either which way, can't be mad. And we've got a 6-way for the women's belt in SmackDown. I love the women's belt in SmackDown. You know, maybe like a copy pasta with different colours and stuff, but I love the SmackDown women's belt. I really do. And speaking of belts, the Universal belt's kind of growing on me a bit. I've given my knee-jerk reactions a bit about it, but you know, I can get used to it eventually. And I like to think that the last two in this elimination is going to come down between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. And I hope to God Becky wins it because I feel bad for her because she's gone... where do you start? You know? And I've got the tag belts, which look fucking great as well. And they'll be contested between whoever comes out of the Usos against the Hype Brothers versus Heath Slater and Rhino. It would have been American Alpha, but the Usos turned heel on SmackDown just been. And it was a good heel move, actually. Good heel turn. I really like that. But I like to think whoever comes out, that's just going to get gored out of their underwear. I'm calling it. It's going to be Slater and Rhino with the tag belts. Then we've got Orton against Wyatt, and I think Wyatt can benefit from this. He needs to win it. He really does. I mean, Orton doesn't really lose much if he loses. So it's good, but I don't think Orton benefits from winning. And it's still only like the first match in the feud, so we don't know if this is going to go on for longer, which I hope it does, because who doesn't love a bit of Bray Wyatt getting in your face about shit? And then we've got The Miz with Ziggler, you know, for the IC. I like to think that The Miz will retain, but I want Ziggler to win, because I don't know, The Miz is too good at what he does. He's too good of a heel. And I think I've covered everything now that I wanted to cover. And yeah, well, this has been relatively short, but then again, Nick's not with me, and I tend to be fairly comprehensive with my thoughts and stuff. I actually should improve a lot more on that. But no, that will be all from me for this episode. And when I get back to Nick, it should be after I move back to university, which is back in the quad. Yeah, I'm back at the quad for this academic year, so it's all good, guys. So that'll be it from me. I'm gonna watch Decay or Delete, whatever the order of it was, because everyone loves a bit of broken Matt Hardy now. He's probably the best thing in wrestling, so I'm probably gonna watch that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening, and hopefully I'll catch you soon with Nick for a lot of snark, and hopefully I can make him scream while I just mention Fandango, because that'd be just fun as fuck. Nothing against you, Nick, but I do love hearing that scream of yours just at the thought of Fandango. So I will love and leave you guys, and I will see you all in a bit.